Welcome back to another throwback video. Today we are going to be building the Lego AAT. Now this is the 2009 version, which in my opinion is the best AAT Lego has ever built. And it is based on the Clone Wars series. So a couple of the other older ones are based on the Battle of Naboo movies, the Phantom Menace. But this one is Clone Wars inspired. But yeah, I used to play with this set all the time. This was one of my biggest sets, my earliest and biggest set. I think I got it right when it came out when I was a kid. Needless to say, that thing has not been built for probably, 10 years. So you'll see the process to find all these pieces was insane. It was definitely more difficult than that Separatist shuttle or that droid carrier that I built in the last two throwback videos. But yeah, it was a fun process. It was pretty difficult and pretty stressful, which you'll see. But I don't even have the instructions for this set. And this is something I didn't know. So you can see right here, Lego.com actually allows you to look up pretty much any set that they've built, and you can find the instructions on the Lego website, as you can see here, which is awesome. Super awesome, lifesaver. So that's what I'm going to be building off today. Let's get started. I'm going to show you guys the piece finding process as we go along, and then we'll build it and review it. Here we go. What a nice, clean, well-organized basement. It sure be a shame if somebody dropped a Lego bomb. Well, now that all the pieces are out, I flipped on the office, pulled up the instructions, and started collecting some of these pieces. These pieces are from 2009, so I was finding a lot of dust and dirt on some of the larger ones. So I was using the most effective Lego cleaning method and using this toothbrush. I kind of skip ahead because the piece collection process took me forever, but it was actually going pretty good. I pretty much found all of the smaller pieces, and this is where I start running into some problems. So I couldn't find the half circle, couldn't find the last of these angled pieces or this little torpedo piece. So I decided to empty out this minifigure container and start going through my larger bin of Legos piece by piece. This new way of sorting out the Legos individually was actually working really well, and I was finding a lot of the pieces that I couldn't before, including the last of these torpedo pieces. I was getting near the bottom of this large container and I was still missing a bunch of pieces. So then I started looking in these smaller containers. Most of these containers I found had a lot of larger pieces, so I didn't find any of the small ones, and I went through all of them. With that, I knew there was only one place left to look. The family bin. You already know I was using the scoop method to dig through this disgusting bucket of mess, but I was still getting a bunch of grease on my hands somehow. Well, that's it. I literally searched every single Lego bin that I had and couldn't find these 3 remaining pieces. And this part was so frustrating because I was so close to finishing off the pieces. Like these, I literally had 5 out of 6. These slanted pieces, I had 7 out of 8, and then these flat pieces with the single stud on top, I had 4 out of 6. So I was so close. I kept looking and re-looking and then re-looking in places that I already looked, and I couldn't find them. That's when I remembered that I still had one more bin in our storage room. This bin is mostly filled with Mega Bloks, so I didn't even think to check it. But I walked in there, and I open the lid, and of course, the first piece I see is that half circle, which is great. Finally have that, so 1 piece down, 2 more to go. For these last couple pieces, I had nowhere else to look. But then I realized I had this Guardians of the Galaxy ship that also had those blue slanted pieces, and it was cracked, so I was like, yeah, I'll just use that. Finally have all 8 of these pieces, but I still couldn't find the flat pieces with the stud on top. And I looked everywhere, so I decided just to switch it out for these completely flat pieces. Now with these final pieces, I was all done collecting the parts. The only thing I had left to do now was grab the characters. So I grabbed my Star Wars bag, got the droid bag out, started finding some of the regular and super battle droids, but then I ran into a problem. I could only find 1.5 super battle droids. And an even bigger problem, neither of them came with the rocket arms like they were supposed to. So I had to improvise a little bit. I ended up just making my own rocket arm, and this guy looks decked out. He's ready to take out some clones. And then I just used the Magna Guard legs for the other super battle droid who didn't have legs. Now all I needed was a regular white clone, so I grabbed that. Then I went to go find Yoda. So I keep some of my more valuable, more rare Lego figures in this container here, including this Lego Deadpool. And there he is. I spot Yoda. Well, with this Yoda, that is the last character that I needed. Now, let's start building this set.
Brian Little.
Well, I just finished the AAT, and it's good to have this thing back. I mean, this thing looks sweet. We'll take a closer look at the set. That's pretty much the main, gonna be the main review. These characters, nothing special besides the custom rocket arm here, and Yoda, clone trooper, nothing special. A couple droids in here, but yeah, ton of fun to build this set. As you could kind of see, you might have been able to tell in the fast build, there were a couple times where I would leave and then come back, and it might be a little choppy in some areas because there were a couple pieces that I forgot to grab from over there in the Lego collection, and there were also some pieces that were really difficult to find actually just on the table because there were so many pieces and none of them were organized. It was just kind of all scattered around. But yeah, let's take a closer look at this set and get right into the review. Here is the up-close look of this amazing 2009 AAT. This Clone Wars blue and gray color scheme is by far my favorite, and I've never actually owned any of the other AATs, but just from reviews, this one is what I think the best AAT Legos ever made. I'm going to start off with a couple complaints that I had. There weren't a ton, but there are a couple things that I would change about this set. First things first, up here in the cockpit, you can see these gray flat tiles. I just think it looks kind of unfinished, and there's also some exposed studs there. Take this with a grain of salt though, because I just looked at a reference picture for the Clone Wars AAT, and it does look pretty accurate. I still think they could have made that connection part for the cannon shorter or added a couple different colors just so it didn't look so unfinished. The only other complaints I had were pretty minor, so now let's take a look at some of the great features this set has. We'll start up top at the cockpit. I love that this thing sits completely flat when it's down, and you can open it up all the way to a 90-degree angle, which allows your battle droid to sit up and look out of the cockpit. After adjusting the droid head a little bit, you can also just close that cockpit door with the droid in there. Overall, just a perfect design up top. Moving down to the cannon, as you can see, I think it's a really sturdy build. You can move it up and down fairly easily. However, the lowest you can point this cannon is at this flat horizontal angle. Rotation wise, it's also very easy to rotate. You can move a couple pieces and actually get this thing to move 360. All things considered, I think LEGO did a fantastic job on this cockpit and top half of the AAT. Moving down further, we have the second opening of this tank. This second compartment is pretty spacious as it fills out the body of the AAT, and you can see there's a droid in there, and we'll get to why he's in there in just a little bit. Similar to the cockpit, I absolutely love the fact that this hatch closes down completely flat. It really completes that tank's sleek design. The tank is also kitted out with these flick fire missiles, 2 on each side, but they don't really shoot that far because they are so extended. But when they're in, it makes the tank look fantastic. Honestly, my favorite part of the set is this blue stripe going down the middle and then the blue outline on the edge of this tank. Without that stripe, I don't think this set would look complete. Now there is one more super cool play feature in this AAT, so let's take a look. If you can see from this angle, there is a little handle that you can pull this back door down. Once that door is down, all you have to do is give it a little tug, and boom, there it is. That's right, this AAT comes with another mini vehicle, a mini droid transport inside of it. This little transport is meant to hold some of your super battle droids and take them into battle. When you're done driving this little speeder around, you can just find that little white clip in there, push the transport back in, and then all you have to do is lift that door up. The final design of the tank is down here on the bottom of the tank with these little half circles. And these let your tank slide very easily across a flat surface or studs. There's not really much else I can say. I'm really glad to have this set back. Love the design. Let's look super quick at the characters and then end the video. Starting off on the Republic side, we have one standard Phase 1 clone trooper. Nothing new to report here. Always love the design of these guys. This AAT also came with Master Yoda, and this guy is awesome. This version of Yoda is supposed to be based on the Clone Wars TV show, and this is actually the first LEGO set that came out with this Clone Wars Yoda. As you can see, his rubber head is a little worn down, but that's because I used to play with this guy all the time, and I absolutely love this figure. Next up, we're going to look at the Separatists, starting off with these super battle droids. Neither of these super battle droids are accurate to what came in the set. There's supposed to be 3 total super battle droids, and they're all supposed to come with these rocket arms. Accuracy aside though, this super battle droid with the custom rocket arm looks sweet. Finally, the set comes with 2 standard battle droids, perfect for manning that AAT. All things considered, this set's minifigure lineup is absolutely fantastic, and although it has 5 droids out of the 7 total characters, 3 of them are super battle droids, which are pretty rare nowadays in sets. Well, that is it for the review and build of this AAT. I hope you guys enjoyed.